So I put my ballot in, but so it got misread. But then what was happening?
Put it in there.
Yeah.
And tonight, a Republican and a Democrat will sit and go through all of the misread ballots all over the county.
Okay.
And count them, and it will get counted.
Okay. And
okay.
But both machines were not working. Yeah.
No, nothing's working in the last half hour. Nothing.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're trying to get that fixed.
So no machines at this center are working at all. Okay, and this is the what station is this? Okay, this is the Central Christian Church, and none of the machines are working, and they are telling us that we have to leave. And so this is now happening here at this voting station also. At Central Christian, they're not letting you vote. You have to go to a different spot.
We switched from a Republican area to vote. We came right down into the heart of liberal Phoenix to vote because we wanted to make sure that we had good machines. And guess what? They've had zero problems with their machines today. Not one machine spit out a ballot here today. Not one. In a very liberal area. So we were right to come and vote in a liberal area. They gotta fix this problem. This is incompetency. I hope it's not malice, but we're gonna fix it. We're gonna win. And when we win, there's gonna be a come to Jesus for elections in Arizona. There's gonna be a come to Jesus. Things are looking very good for us. They may be trying to slow a red tsunami, but it's coming. And we are going to take back Arizona. And I know that people are out voting. Take a little bit of food, wear comfortable shoes, take some water, and just stay in line, Arizona, and vote. Vote, vote. We got to vote today.
We've got about 20% of the locations out there where there's an issue with the tabulator, where some of the ballots that after people have voted them, they try and run them through the tabulator and they're not going through. But the good thing is we do, first of all, we're trying to fix this problem as quickly as possible. And we also have a redundancy in place. If you can't put the ballot in the tabulator, then you can simply place it here in where you see the number 3. And this is a secure box where those ballots will be kept for later this evening, where we'll bring them in here to Central Count to tabulate them.
So this would function much like early voting functions, in that we would get your ballot back. Once we've signature verified it, we would send it to our central tabulators. Ballots that are in here will already be, in effect, signature verified, so we won't need to confirm identity, but we will central tabulate them. This is actually what the majority of Arizona counties do on election day all the time.
I don't even believe we are at this location and their voting machines are not working properly. They don't count the ballots. You go in to register, they give you a ballot, which takes like 20 minutes, which is ridiculous. You go in, you do your voting, you go in, you give it into the machine and it won't take it. It says misread ballot. Every single person in there is getting a misread ballot. Oh, no. So now they have to drop them into the box, so hand counted, supposedly hand counted. Yeah. My husband's done 2 ballots. He had to do a canceled ballot. The second ballot he went in to vote, same thing. So every person in that line now that's standing there is not going to get counted properly that we don't know.
Of course, I know everybody wants to make sure that it reads and everything is fine.
Can you repeat that?
I can promise
Can you start from the beginning and repeat that?
So what happens is we have 2 tabulators. One of the tabulators is not working, okay? The other tabulator is taking about 75% successful. So 25% of them are being misread, and it could be a printer issue, or it could be the tabulator itself. So when it's misread, you have an option to put it into what's called box 3, and it gets read, whether it goes downtown and gets read manually, or whether it gets refed into our tabulator.
You don't want to adjudicate.
They get read, okay? So no one's trying to deceive anybody.
Of course not. Not on election day. That would never happen, right? No, that would never happen.
So choices are, you know, you guys. Sure.
If I get up there and that happens to my ballot, can I take my ballot with me and go somewhere else?
You cannot leave the premises with a ballot. Sorry, and there's not like you can go.
Because I don't trust to go in a box. The box may never make
no way.
The choice is,
I'll come back.
The choice is to wait until
ballot, and if it's wrong, then they put it in some other box to send downtown and be checked.
The other option is the accessible voting device. This is 100% of the time probably, but there's certainly about an hour wait. Have you reported this? Yes, we have. Okay. Who did report it? Everybody. The sheriff knows? Everybody knows. We've been putting this all the way up line. And it's not, we're not the only place.
You might want to go somewhere else. The printing machines are screwed up, he said.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Andy Palumbo. There are reports of problems at polls in parts of Luzerne County. Voters tell us some machines ran out of paper. Newswatch 16's Chelsea Strube sent us this photo of people waiting in line to vote in Harvey's Lake. She tells us voters were filling out provisional ballots while a poll worker drove to Wilkes-Barre to get paper.
I think that's ridiculous, especially since, it's open until 8 o'clock tonight, and they still can't find any paper? So nowhere to find paper. Good.
Similar issues have been reported to our newsroom in Dorrance Township and Dallas Township. We have not heard back from election officials in Luzerne County. Thank you for joining us. I'm Andy Palumbo. There are reports of problems at polls in parts of Luzerne County. Voters tell us some machines ran out of paper. Newswatch 16's Chelsea Strube sent us this photo of people waiting in line to vote in Harvey's Lake. She tells us voters were filling out provisional ballots while a poll worker drove to Wilkes-Barre to get paper.
I think that's ridiculous, especially since, it's open until 8 o'clock tonight, and they still can't find any paper? So nowhere to find paper. Good.
Similar issues have been reported to our newsroom in Dorrance Township and Dallas Township. We have not heard back from election officials in Luzerne County.
Is that the numbers in these exits do not line up with what we were seeing in the polling data going into this election about what people cared about and the order in which they ranked it. So we have had a lot of questions throughout this time about new voters, people that hadn't been in there before that were perhaps not getting captured by the polling. So maybe this is a sign that we're going to see a little bit more of that tonight than we expected. We obviously don't know yet.
And you know what's missing from this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 top 5 issues? Democracy.
Oh, yeah.
It's not even in here. It's not to say that it's not an issue for people, but it doesn't
not
even come
issue.
close.
Well, not
I
the
do
issue.
think that
of course, yeah, but I don't think those. I'd be for marijuana because when they prosecute people for marijuana, it's racially biased. We know that. That's a very good reason to legalize it. What I worry about, of course, if the Republicans take over, whether it's by a small margin or a large margin, that they are, first of all, we're not going to be able to pass anything. Secondly, there will be hearings. There'll be investigations. They'll investigate Hunter Biden. It'll be very toxic. Marjorie Taylor Greene and those people will want to impeach Biden. I worry about it just being very, very ugly. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure that's pretty predictable.
Well, I'm here at Nolan School here in Detroit. They're voting. There you go. We did get a little problem. Some people who did vote here say they were, when they showed up to vote in person, that they had already voted absentee. Not the case. Election officials in Detroit, they're aware of the problem. They are encouraging officials to use the hard copy voter list, not the electronic lists. And they say that anyone who shows up will be allowed to vote. Polls close 8 o'clock all through the state.
Now, according to county officials, the problem had to do with passwords being entered too many times, so it appears this is a technical glitch of sorts. Election officials say teams are taking those problem ballots to the county's election center where they will be counted after the polls close at 7 o'clock tonight, local time. So they want to assure voters here no one is being disenfranchised. All those votes, all those ballots will be counted, Wolf.
We're keeping an eye on that one.
That's good. But you see, that's our first votes, and that's the wonder of democracy, whether you're a Democrat or Republican. And I wanted to point that out to be a little bit of the crank in the room following Brianna there. Stay off social media, people, if you're trying to figure out, are there really issues with votings? Trust your local officials. Trust us here. Trust a news source that you know and trust, to be honest about this. They're doing their jobs and they're doing it right. So what was Brianna just talking about? She was talking about Cobb County, Georgia. That is right up here, just outside of Atlanta. It matters, right? It's 7%.
Being chosen today.
Look at this.
It's busy. And you're on as the voter. I'm Harris Faulkner. You were in the Faulkner.
What is he marking?
44 million Americans have already cast an early ballot.
What's he doing? Flipping through ballots. Oh, look at the camera. Mark, look around. What the hell is he doing?
Each and every vote cast will make up a small part
right on
of what
Fox.
the political landscape will look like for the next 2 years.
Well, I'm here at Nolan School here in Detroit. They're voting. There you go. We did get a little problem. Some people who did vote here say they were, when they showed up to vote in person, that they had already voted absentee. Not the case. Election officials in Detroit, they're aware of the problem. They are encouraging officials to use the hard copy voter list, not the electronic lists. And they say that anyone who shows up will be allowed to vote. Polls close, 8 o'clock, all through the state.
People, put that phone down, girl. God bless you.
It's my son. Who, by the way, wanted to make sure that his absentee ballot was that I did that, and I had trouble actually voting for him absentee ballot today, and that made me very concerned. It was the first time. I was told to put it in an orange bag on the floor, and the orange bag looked to me like a Target bag or something. And I said, isn't there a formal election box that says absentee ballots or something like that? And then she said, let me check, and then found it.
Wow.
So that concerned me.
We are following breaking news in Phoenix, Arizona, the capital of Phoenix there in Maricopa County. Seems to be having massive trouble with 20% of its tabulation machines at election board offices. Look at this. I mean, we've got video of people in line now. And Kari Lake, who's the gubernatorial, the Republican running for governor in that state, just tweeted, I'm getting flooded with calls and text messages from people who are having trouble voting all over Maricopa County. This is why we must reform elections. Brett, we will be talking about this throughout the evening. I do want to make it really clear that this is not all machines at all of these places. But when we say 20%, we mean a fifth of the 221 centers are affected, having some sort of tabulation or counting problems, and they have, as of a few minutes ago, reportedly by Phoenix 10, Fox 10 there, no idea why so many of the machines are not working.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interacting with people on the ground, too. I have some friends in there that tried to vote. One of them said she tried to vote in Scottsdale, and her ballot was rejected 20 times. So she waited around and said, can you get me to one of the devices that works? It took a while, but eventually got to the accessible device, the tabulator, and she did vote. But others are saying that there's a long line for the machine that works, so they're being told to fill out this ballot and put it in this lockbox where they will be counted later and brought to the county tabulation site. If you do that, however, there's a chance that that ballot won't be counted until at the end of counting for Arizona.
Right.
They say it'll be counted.
And what date do you put on that?
Yeah, today.
No, I'm being serious about that, because that's a problem that they're having in Pennsylvania right now.
Yeah,
They've
but
got
this
a lot
would
of
be,
ballots
they would get
that
filled
have
out
wrong
there.
dates.
That's right.
So a different situation out there, but the date counts too. So do you put it on the date of the election? Do you put it on?
Yeah, you put it on the date of the election.
Yeah, this gets
but here's
tough.
the bottom line, is that we kind of knew that this election was going to happen. You know, I mean,
right. Oh, you mean maybe we've been getting ready for it for a while?
How about we fix the machines? I mean, why is this happening? Can we get our head around? There are going to be problems all over the country, some problems, but for it to happen here, for it to happen now in this way is kind of strange.